Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about an important decision every business owner must consider: choosing a form of business ownership. When someone starts a business, one of the first questions is not just, what am I going to sell, or who are my customers? Another important question is, how should this business be legally organized? The form of ownership you choose can affect taxes, liability, decision-making, paperwork, control, and even how easy it is to raise money. Let's look at a few common options. A sole proprietorship is the simplest form of business ownership. This is when one person owns and operates the business. Many small businesses begin this way. One major advantage is that it is usually easy and inexpensive to start. The owner has full control and gets to make the decisions. However, the major disadvantage is personal liability. If the business owes money or gets sued, the owner's personal assets could be at risk. A partnership involves two or more people owning a business together. This can be helpful because partners can combine money, skills, experience, and ideas. The advantage is that partners can share responsibilities and bring different strengths to the business. The disadvantage is that partners can also disagree. There may also be liability concerns, especially if one partner makes a poor decision that affects the entire business. Another option is a corporation. A corporation is a separate legal entity from its owners. This can provide liability protection for the owners, which is one of its biggest advantages. Corporations can also raise money by selling stock. However, corporations usually involve more paperwork, regulations, reporting requirements, and sometimes higher costs. Owners may also have less direct control depending on how the corporation is structured. A popular option for many small businesses is the limited liability company, often called an LLC. An LLC can offer some liability protection while still giving the owner or owners flexibility in how the business is managed. The advantage of an LLC is that it can protect personal assets while being easier to operate than a corporation. The disadvantage is that there are still filing requirements, fees, and rules that vary by state. So how does a business owner choose? There is no one perfect answer for every business. The right form of ownership depends on the type of business, the level of risk, the number of owners, tax considerations, growth plans, and how much control the owner wants to keep. For example, a small photography business might begin as a sole proprietorship or LLC. A restaurant with multiple owners may operate as a partnership or LLC. A company planning to grow nationally and attract investors may consider a corporation. The key lesson is this: choosing a form of business ownership is not just a paperwork decision, it is a strategic decision. Before starting a business, owners should think carefully about these questions. How much personal risk am I willing to take? Will I have partners or investors? How much control do I want? How much paperwork and regulation can I manage? What are my long-term goals for the business? As always, business owners should consider getting advice from an attorney, accountant, or business advisor before making a final decision. For this week, I want you to think like a business owner. If you were starting your own business, which form of ownership would make the most sense for you, and why? Remember, good business decisions begin with asking the right questions.